If you want to have the perfect start possible in Wuchang Fallen Feathers, you are in the right place. As your fellow player who's about to finish my first playthrough, I'll be giving 31 tips that I wish I knew earlier and will save you a lot of time and help you avoid the common traps in the game. Like for example, paying attention to NPC quest progression by checking each of the location when fast traveling between places. NPC grayscale portraits will start to appear at certain locations, which tells you that you still have unfinished NPC quest in that specific area. This feature is such a godsend since it lessens the chances of you missing an NPC quest entirely or forgetting to progress them. Veteran Souls-like players knows the importance of NPC quests as each of them can give useful consumables or powerful equipment and most of the time affects the entire story. In a traditional Souls-like title, weapon attack or damage multipliers are determined by letter rankings such as B, A, and S rank as the highest. But instead of following the same formula, Wuchang determines attack modifiers in the form of levels. So to increase your damage significantly, you need to pay attention to which stats a specific weapon type is boosting. And for instance, Lashing Whip Longswords provides level 3 scaling for both strength and agility. So activating strength nodes and agility in your Impetus repository will give you more raw strength and agility stats, therefore increasing your overall damage. More on repository later on. While the Watcher's Gaze one-handed sword gives you level 5 scaling to magic and level 1 to agility. It is wise to focus on increasing your raw magic stat in your repository upgrades for this instance. From what I've seen in my progress so far, level 1 scaling is the lowest and level 6 is the highest so far, so keep that in mind. Just in case you forgot to acquire a specific boss item or an important key item, you can later get it from the donation box. The donation box is located in the Reverend Temple, which is your first location in the game. I did not realize this soon enough and left wondering how could I get the key items that I missed. Not only that, if you bought the deluxe edition, you can also find all of the exclusive gear in the donation box, and not to mention, each armor set is so eye candy. Just like in other Souls-like titles, merchants in the game offer more items as you progress if you give them certain key items. Like for example here, giving the merchant Tao Ching the copper jug will let me buy a specific armor set. This applies to the merchant Wuchang as well, who offers you more stuff like benediction stones and more. So pay extra attention to tracking their quests by getting all of the necessary key items that usually drop from boss fights or other means. Most of the time, they sell really strong weapons and armor sets, especially at early game. The next tip is to avoid hoarding too much Red Mercury, especially when exploring uncharted territories, since you can potentially lose all of them, which of course equates to you wasting your precious time. This may sound boring for veteran Souls-like players, however, many players will take Wuchang as their first Souls-like title. When interacting with shrines, make it a habit to spend your Red Mercury in leveling Wuchang every time you have the chance to do so. On top of this step, you can simply monitor your Red Mercury icon in the top left corner of your menu, since when it glows, it means that you can level up your character. In every Souls-like title that I played so far, grinding is not really required, especially if you just want to complete the main story. Fighting bosses with a fair level and progress is really the height of this game. But just fighting enemies that you come across and understanding the game's mechanics, you will be stronger naturally and enjoy much a fairer experience when fighting bosses. However, I know a lot of my audience loves to grind, and if you love grinding and don't really care about being overpowered early, I covered the best and earliest farming spots and methods in a separate video, which I link in the description or by clicking the card here. If you're like me who's very keen on how my character looks, layering your armor pieces, or what many of you know as this feature as transmog, is possible in the game. To do this, head to your menu and select the armor piece you want to change the appearance of. Then press triangle at least when using a PlayStation controller, and then you can select the determining appearance. In this way, you can look how you want to be without sacrificing your stats, since armor sets in this game are pretty useful when mitigating status effects. And not to mention, the armor sets are really looking so nice that I can stop changing my appearance all of the time. While on the landscape, you will encounter these glowing statues or altars, and upon interacting with them, they will give you certain highlighted wordings. These are actual clues or wish gestures you need to perform to solve the puzzle. And to perform an actual gesture, press the face button on a PlayStation controller and let it play its animation. If you perform the right gesture, the statue will then reward you with useful items such as divine find artifacts or NPC key items, so be sure to be on the lookout for these statues. If you're getting value so far, subscribe to the channel. Liking the video and engaging in the comments helps me a lot. Join our Discord server and discuss role-playing games such as this, and I appreciate your support. Wuchang's world has its depths, and you will be surprised how wildly intricate it is to explore and how each area is interconnected. Especially not having an actual map could upset many players, especially the newcomers in the genre. I personally don't mind this since it is much immersive that way, but if you need guidance, the compass is the best guidance you have. As you progress in the game, the compass can help you track shrines that you haven't activated yet by following the reddish glowing arrow. The light brownish arrow leads you to NPCs who wants to talk to you, and most of the time, these NPCs will give you hints where to go or let you progress their own separate questline leading to optional areas. When talking to NPCs, listen carefully as they can give you important landmarks to pinpoint your next destination. While also in the landscapes, you will be encountering these white pinwheels, and it is actually an indication or a clue that you are on the right path that progresses the main story. While exploring areas, you will come across spawning bamboo shoots in certain locations. Once you see these creatures, make sure to kill them right away because they tend to run away and vanish. Once you catch them, they will drop bamboo shoots that later on can be traded to the panda NPC. There are a lot of other good items that you can trade here, like spells and other helpful consumables. The world of Wuchang is littered with hidden paths, secret places, and more. And most of the time, these hidden places can be accessed by invisible pathways, and of course, these secret places rewards you with items. Sometimes there are glowing objects that mark a certain spot, and there are times that these objects are placed on invisible path as well, giving you a hint that there's an invisible path that you can cross. These glowing objects are called divination crescents. You can use it as well to test if there's an invisible path in front of you by throwing it so you can avoid a potential death just in case there's no hidden pathway. While progressing in the game, you will encounter cuckoos that are stationed in every corner. This is deliberately placed by the devs for you to determine if you have already visited a certain location, explaining their numbers. So be on the lookout for these birds if you want to explore every corner of a certain area. You can easily hear these birds, and they pretty much sounds like woohoo, woohoo, to the point that you will be crazy from hearing them in every new place to encounter. I'm pretty sure that it doesn't sound like that. Killing them with a kunai or a throwing knife is suggested as well, so you can accumulate aurum feathers, which I will be explaining its use later on in the combat section of this guide. When exploring the world of Wuchang, make it a habit to break every clay pot that you encounter, since there's a chance that a pot beast is hiding in one of these pots. Killing these pot beasts will usually reward you with faint red feathers. Faint red feathers is a material that you can use to upgrade your weapon mastery level in your repository or perhaps your skill tree later on. Red feathers are like your upgrade stones in other Souls-like titles, and yes, there's no actual blacksmith in this game. I'll be giving specific tips on Impetus repository system and mastery levels later down the line, so stay tuned for that. Also be on the lookout for elite enemies and mini bosses in the field. Most of the time, you can take these enemies or bosses down in your current level, even though they may seem advanced when you first encounter them. Most of the elite enemies in the first areas of the game are not too terrible, and most of them drop rare items, like brilliant red feathers, which are higher form of mastery upgrade material, or directly level you by dropping pure Red Mercury essence and more. So try your best to kill these enemies to enjoy their drops much earlier, which you can use in your overall progression. And most of the time, elite enemies can easily be determined if their eyes are glowing in blue. You're going to interact with a lot of ladders in this game, and some of them have an absurd length. So if you don't know how to quickly climb ladders by pressing the circle button while climbing, it will take ages for you to do so. Pressing circle and holding it while climbing down ladders will allow you to slide through it, streamlining the whole process. The Impetus repository system or your skill tree serve as the main feature that makes you stronger in Wuchang Fallen Feathers. Killing enemies in the field will let you accumulate Red Mercury, and then you can use it to expand your repository. In the repository, you can increase your raw stats by activating strength, agility, magic, or feathering nodes. For example, activating strength node will give you +1 strength, and the same applies to other stats. In this game, you can pick and master 5 weapon types, and each of them has its own upgrade paths, which also expand as you unlock more nodes. You can also unlock additional skills or disciplines by unlocking specific node on a specific weapon upgrade path. On top of that, the Impetus repository heavily shapes character builds in this game. Like for example, if you are going for a fire-based character build, of course you would want to unlock a specific node that increases applies fire buildup, and this applies to other theme as well. Don't be afraid of experimenting with upgrade paths since you can reset all of your existing upgrades anytime without penalty. You can do so by selecting the center of the repository and refunding all of the points that you've used so far for you to try different upgrade paths. It is wise to determine which upgrades to go first, and I know it looks very overwhelming at first glance, but actually it is simple if you know what to upgrade first. I mentioned that there are 5 weapon types, right? But actually there is a 6th upgrade path which I call core upgrades or core nodes, and you can find this node on the left side section of the repository which I'm showing on the screen right now. In the core skill section or core upgrade section, there are 2 types of nodes that you should pay attention to, and the first one is the mana vase upgrade nodes. Just like in other Souls-like titles, you can increase the healing amount and healing charges of your mana vase, which is your main healing consumable in the game. The more charges you have, of course, the more you stay alive in combat, and the stronger your healing becomes, the less mana charges you consume. The mana capacity node increases your mana charges, and each upgrade requires Forgotten Remembrance, while the mana potency node increases the potency of your mana vase, which will then requires the Lost Remains upgrade material. The Forgotten Remembrances and Lost Remains can be obtained from huge golden coffers scattered across the world, so be on the lookout for these chests. Aside from your mana vase upgrade nodes, anything that increases the amount of Skyborn Might that you can accumulate is a priority, or any nodes that improve its generation, which of course varies depending on your weapon types. Skyborn Might is your bread and butter since casting spell requires Skyborn Might charges, and these charges strengthen the damage of your skills and discipline as well. So to put it simply, the more Skyborn Might charges you have, the more spells you can cast or the more powerful skills you can perform in combat in certain combos. You can monitor the number of your Skyborn charges near your health bar in your character's HUD before you use your charges. You're now aware of what you should prioritize in your core upgrades, and the next best thing to do is to focus and master one weapon type and focus on its upgrades, especially in the early game. It is because you don't have that much Red Mercury to spread your upgrades to different weapon types, especially at early game, and focusing your resources on one weapon type will give you a much better returns since the latter upgrades down the line are most of the time better. So if you focus on core upgrades and one weapon type, your upgrade paths will look like this, like what I'm showing on the screen right now. I master long swords, and you can see that the other weapon types have 0 upgrades on it. When advancing your weapon type upgrade nodes, I highly suggest prioritizing weapon mastery nodes, as these nodes increases the weapon type's overall damage, and they require red feathers as previously mentioned. Every time you upgrade weapon mastery level, the plus on your weapon increases as well, showing how strong it is currently. Not only that, you can also acquire more disciplines and skills in weapon upgrade paths, which gives you versatility in combat along with other special upgrades. Wuchang offers different types of skill to master, which can branch into your normal attack combos, and your skills piles up when you are progressing your weapon upgrade path. So I highly suggest checking the help tab in the game settings. The help tab shows all of your unlock and possible attack combinations, which is pretty useful if you want to maximize your skill maneuvers in combat. Temperance is pretty much overpowered in this game since this feature or equipment can buff your main weapon with various status inflicting effects. You will be getting your first Temperance, which is the Bone Flame Needle, by just progressing in the story. What it does is it will buff your weapon with fire. Not only your attacks will be stronger, but you will also inflict burn buildup on your enemies. To use Temperance, make sure you slot in your quick slots so you can use it anytime, especially when in combat. When you first unlock this feature, you can also use it once per battle, but you can take the Temper node in your core upgrade section to increase the amount of Temperance charges you can use. Keep in mind as well that some weapons can't be buffed with Temperance, so keep this in mind just in case you are wondering why you can use Temperance on a specific weapon. In the Temperance menu, you can determine whether a weapon can be tempered or not. And of course, Temperance plays a heavy role in defining character builds as well, since you can play with different types of needles with different effects, such as Blight Inflicting Needle, Frostbite Inducing Needle, Corruption, and more. Just to set it straight, there are two types of needles you can take advantage of. The first one is the bone needle, which is most of the time determines the affinity or elemental properties that the weapon will be imbued with. And you can get more bone needles by progressing your skill tree. The second one is stone needles, which adds more unique effects to your temperance loadout. As you progress your repository, you will be unlocking more acupoints or slots so you can equip multiple stone needles at a time for more effects. Stone needles can be acquired by defeating your inner demon that spawn in certain location across the world. But keep in mind that the inner demon that is summoned when you max out your maddening points when you die does not drop stone needles. Although we are talking about the same inner demon, the ones that spawn in certain locations are the only ones that drop stone needles. Be on the lookout for benediction stones, which adds additional effects on your weapon, and most of the time you can get them as a loot when defeating special enemies or by buying them from merchants. There are 3 types of benediction stones and you can equip as many as 3 stones per weapon. And of course, you wouldn't want to miss the additional effects that Jade Pendants provides, which are your accessories in this game. Experiment with different Jade Pendants and benediction stones to refine your builds. Remember the Aurum feathers that Cuckoo drops? They are pretty limited at first, but they accumulate over time. It is wise to use these feathers before fighting bosses or elite enemies, since the buff it provides stacks with your overall loadout, which is very useful in early game. A lot of enemies in this game, including bosses, loves to open their bags after performing a moveset, so getting behind them and abusing your charge heavy attacks can be a solid strategy. If they stagger, you can pull off an obliterate attack which deals tons of damage. The combat of Wuchang is a little bit fast-paced and concentrates more on dodging and an aggressive playstyle, pretty much how Bloodborne was presented. Perfect dodges incentivize you by giving you Skyborn Might charges so you can quickly accumulate them in combat. So try your best at mastering the timing of perfect dodges or shimmers. Not to mention that the timing of perfect dodge in this game is very forgiving. Dodging is a solid strategy, but it doesn't mean that blocking and parrying are useless. In fact, it can also be a solid strategy and be very rewarding if you can master it. Other weapons will allow you to block attacks without any upgrade, but as for longswords, you need to unlock them first in your repository. Your mana charge is pretty limited, so you will want to use other healing items such as Steam Bunnies or Raven Pills. Steam Bunnies will grant you slow HP regen, very useful in exploration, while Raven Pills will heal a small amount of HP. One easy combat tip is taking advantage of shortcuts in combat. For you to do so, press and hold triangle to access spell shortcuts and press and hold square to access consumables or temper fast, so you don't need to cycle through your stuff, especially when in the heat of combat. Now this is where Wuchang's combat can be rewarding for most players but can be punishing for some. When you die in combat, your madness gauge increases, or when you kill a non-feathered humanoid type enemy. There are a lot of ways to use madness to your advantage, such as when your madness gauge reaches a certain threshold, like above 50% for example, you will have access to deadly buffs that will make you overpower. You can unlock these additional effects in your repository, and each of them provides different OP effects, so take the time reading these madness upgrades. However, when you reach above 90% madness threshold, Wuchang will deal stronger attacks and increase her status resistances, but take increased damage in exchange. Not only that, you will gain more Red Mercury when defeating enemies, useful for farming sessions. You can see here that madness does reward players who loves high risk, high reward playstyles. But what if you really hate the madness mechanic? You can use a divine artifact that you can get from NPC quests or buy from merchants and use them to prey on golden shoe statues to cleanse your madness. Or when you die while having max madness points, defeating your inner demon that invades you will cleanse your madness. On the other hand, if you want to increase your madness in the fastest way possible and have access to more damage multipliers, access invoke feature in your shrines and exchange useful consumables. I usually trade Raven Pills and max my madness gauge for more heals in combat. Following all of these tips will save you a lot of time, and you can start strong and miles ahead compared to when I first played the game. But what if you want to know the best earliest spots in the game and be overpowered early? Click on this video and I will catch you on the next one.